going on, guys? It's Mehdi, and in this video I want to talk to you about some alternative payment processes that you can use instead of Stripe, especially if you live in Dubai. So I want to split this video up into 4 parts. The first one is sharing my experience with Stripe so far, and after processing over $3 million worth of transactions, I've had some good experiences, I've had some really bad ones as well. So I'll share with you some of my experiences, then I want to share with you 3 of the top alternative payment processes that I like to use, and I've saved the best for last, so stick until the end. So first off, just to give you some context, I have a high ticket coaching business, which means that I'm in the digital marketing space, meaning none of my products are tangible. We can't physically deliver these products or services to clients. So it can be very challenging to find a good payment processor to support your transactions. Now, Stripe used to be really good. In fact, I started using them back in 2017 for my first ever e-commerce/drop shipping store. And they were fairly decent. They would deliver payments on time. Anytime we had sort of client disputes, they would be extremely good in handling them. Now, when I started using them for my high ticket coaching business, that's when I really started to process high volume of transactions, maybe 6 and upwards of 7 figures. Now, till date, I'll show you some proof on the screen. I've processed a little bit over $3 million worth of transactions using Stripe. But the sad thing is, 2017, 2018, they were really good. But in a lot of cases, Stripe has let me down for 3 reasons. Number 1, a ridiculous high amount of fees. So I'll give you an example. I used to live in London, and they would charge me about 3.25% to process transactions. So just to give you an image of what that looks like, after processing over $1 million, that's pretty much about $32,000 that I'm giving away to Stripe. Now, I completely get it's a business, right? And they got to make their money because they're providing the service. But if you look at the return on service, which is B, going out there, and in some cases, I've had clients, I'm sure all of us have had clients that have opened up disputes. I've had clients that we've delivered in 4. They've actually got results using our coaching services. And a year and a half later, they've opened up a dispute to get all their money back for product not received, which is the exact tag that they've used. And in a lot of cases, Stripe has gone out there, ruled the dispute in their favor after uploading pages and pages worth of documents, client agreements, which specify our refund policies, and more importantly, even recordings of the sessions that we've done with clients of them saying themselves, look, I'm extremely satisfied with the services, and they've still ruled in their favors. So that's the second thing. But I would say the third thing that was the worst thing of all is after moving to Dubai, I opened up a payment processor with Stripe, and after processing a little bit over, I think 30 or 40,000 pounds worth of transactions, Stripe has been holding about 15 to 17,000 pounds of my money. And for about 4 or 5 months, I've been contacting them every single month, emailing them, calling their phone support team. The phone support team has been very hard to reach, and still the money's locked in the account and I've not been able to get it, which is A, absolutely ridiculous, and B, for the amount of money that they've made off of fees, just bad customer service. So with that out of the way, I'm sure if you're watching this right now, another thing that you've noticed as well is Stripe, especially recently, you might have received an email that looks like the one on screen, are going out there and shutting down your Stripe account, especially if you're in the digital marketing space. You sell digital products, consulting, coaching, online training programs, etc., which is ridiculous because this is where the world is headed. So that's extremely frustrating. And if you have a business and you're up and running, you're constantly onboarding new clients, but you're getting a message like that, it can really put a spanner in the works. So that's my experience with Stripe as to why I've made the decision to move away and transition away from them, even after collecting millions of dollars worth of successful transactions, some not so successful, but that's the lowdown on my experience with Stripe. Now, to not waste any more time, I'm sure you're probably stuck there feeling the same way. I want to give you 3 of the best alternatives. And by the way, these are based in Dubai. And if you're someone that's enjoying tax-free benefits like myself, you're going to love these. The first one is a payment processor called Utap. Now, in the UAE, they have a virtual bank, kind of similar to what they have in the UK, called Revolut. And the one that they have in the UAE is called Weo Bank. Now, it's a very simple banking app that you can pretty much set up by spending 20 to 30 minutes, downloading it from the App Store, filling in your details, and within a few hours, they'll get you approved for your online banking app where you can pretty much start to receive payments. Inside of the Weo Business Bank, and I'll put a screenshot on the screen, they have a payment processor service called Utap. And the reason I like it quite a lot is because A, it's integrated with your bank. So it's very easy and very seamless to connect everything up. And the fees are a lot better than Stripe in a lot of cases. So they only charge about 2.5%, which in my case is almost a 1% less than what I was paying before. And the fees to pretty much run this is about 99 AED a month. So for those of you that live in the UK, it's about £20 a month. For those of you that live in the States, it's a little bit around $25 a month. So they're really good. I'll show you a screenshot of what their interface looks like on screen as well. Now, I've personally used them. They work exceptionally great. They've got good service and it's been pretty smooth so far. So that's the first one. The second one one, and this one is for you big hitters. So if you're processing, multiple 6 figures or 7 figures a year and beyond, then this one's going to be especially well for you. And this is called Network. So in Dubai, if you've gone to pretty much any restaurant, you go to Nando's, you go to Namos, you go to Louis Vuitton, I know that's not a restaurant, but any of the big retail stores, then you'll notice that their card machines all say the word network on it. If you live in the UAE, there's a bank called Emirates MBD. It's one of their longest standing banks. It's one of the most trusted and respected banks. And once you open the business banking side, you can pretty much apply for network bank or network payment processor. So it's a pretty simple setup process. You call your relationship manager. This one takes a little bit longer to set up. It could take anywhere up to a week. It's a little bit more on the pricier side as well for the initial setup. I believe it's around 10,000 AED. If you do the math, it's about £2,000, £2,500, about $3,000 US. It can seem like a lot, but to have a trusted payment processor that gives you that peace of mind when you're collecting 6 or 7 figures worth of payments, in hindsight, it's not a crazy amount of money. And if you break it down over the year, again, it's not a crazy amount of money. What they have is they have 2.5% processing fees, which isn't that bad, to be honest. And at the end of the day, they give you a payment link, an interface that you can log into and use. And if you do in-person events like I've got coming up in Dubai, then you can pretty much have a card machine as well. So Network is very trusted. I've had no complaints, and some of the most trusted brands on the high street pretty much use them too. So Network is the second one. Now the third one, and I've saved the best one for last because this is the one that I personally use and it's worked amazingly. Now I had some doubts about it because it's a new payment processor and I'm a little bit unsure about taking multiple 6 and 7 figures worth of transactions, especially it being a new payment processor. The third one is called Mamo Pay. A friend of mine, when I moved to Dubai, he called me and he said, I heard you're having issues with your Stripe account. Have you found an alternative? And I said, no, I'm still looking. And he pretty much hit me up and said, there's one that you can use called Mamo Pay. So I checked it out, went on their website. It took maybe an hour maximum to set up. Within the next 24 hours, they had my logins ready. They got everything approved and I was able to pretty much start accepting payments straight away. And I linked this to my Dubai bank for my Emirates MBD and my Weo bank, and it worked amazingly. So their fees, because they're so new, are a lot more competitive, and their current fees are about 2% for international cards. Now, me living in Dubai and collecting payments from my clients out in the States, it's only 2%. So it's the most competitive out of the 3 that I've broken down so far. Now, by the way, I'm not an affiliate for these guys. I don't get sponsored. I don't get given any money. I just understand how frustrating it is to have your payment processes shut down or have them holding tens of thousands of dollars worth of your funds and your client funds. So just a little bit more on Mamo Pay. I've been using it for the good part of 3 months and they've done all my payouts correctly on time. In fact, I did have a slight issue with them, just to be transparent with you, which was I had a high number of client declines. So what I was able to do though, is I was able to call their support team. They messaged me on WhatsApp. I dropped them a message saying, look, I've got X client, their card keeps declining. Is there anything you can do to help me out? They were able to make a few tweaks on their system and the decline rate severely dropped. So payments were going through fine, a lot more smoothly. So with that being said, I'll put like an image of the interface on the screen just so you can see more about Mamo Pay. I'll link some of them below just so if you want to be able to sign up to them, you can. Again, I'm not affiliated or sponsored by any of these guys, even though I should be. But if you got a lot of value from this video, and I know it's a different style of video, smash that subscribe button and comment below if there's any questions you have. And more importantly, what sort of videos you want to see next. And I'll see you in the next one.